You may be asking yourself, hey, TMW Productions, you look really nice today. What's the special occasion? Well, I own about 3 or 4 different colored t-shirts. This is episode 4. That means I'm about at my end of different t-shirts. So today I went button down. Today we're going to talk about planning. And to start with planning, I want to cut to a video with an interview with David Fincher, one of my favorite directors, needs no introduction. Directed a couple films. Some people saw him, some people liked him, some people didn't. I'd probably say most people did. So let's cut to the video and see what David Fincher has to say about planning.
How meticulous are you in your prepping?
I try to be, I try to kind of take everything that can go wrong into account, because something's going to go wrong on any given day. But I don't also want to overthink something to the point where it's just becomes sort of boring execution or, checking off a list. I want it to be communal, and I want people to have an investment. I want the actors and the cinematographer and the dolly grip, and I want people to be invested in coming up with ways to make things more concise.
It's easy to think, well, he's on this scale and I'm on that scale, especially when you're doing a short film and you don't have that much of a team behind you. Oh, I don't need all that. I'm just going to make a film, and it's either going to be good or it's going to be bad. But you do learn through experience. If there was one specific day I learned that lesson, it was the first day of shooting Mountain Cult episode 4. It was the first time I had a assistant who was, let's just say, not very experienced. And it was also the first day I worked with actual actors. Multiple things that I didn't have set up correctly. The color settings on my camera I really wasn't happy with, and I would learn later on it would take me months and months of editing in order to get the colors consistent from shot to shot. Part of that reason being we shot parts of the same scene at different times in the day so that the lighting changed. Because I used S-Log 3 instead of S-Log 2, I believe it records more depth in colors, or more depth in lighting. I don't fuck. But there's a big difference, and I learned, don't use S-Log 3. Unless you're really good and you know what you're doing. I mean, I kind of know what I'm doing, but whatever. Don't use S-Log 3. We're going to cut to a video. It is by Eric Sue. It is called How to Plan a Video Shoot, and he's going to speak on the theory of why pre-production is so important.
Why is it important to do pre-production in the first place? And I think this comes back to Andrew Grove wrote about this in High Output Management. And the theory is that it's a lot more expensive to correct a mistake further down the pipeline. So if you get out there and you shoot an entire scene and then you realize that your actor is not wearing the vest that the customer asked for, now you're gonna have to go back, hire the actor again, hire the location again, and it's really expensive. So you want to correct all those mistakes the sooner down the pipeline, because it's a lot easier to get the wardrobe person to go back and get the vest than it is to reshoot the entire scene.
All right, so as I mentioned in the beginning, I have learned through experience that pre-production is exceptionally important. The biggest deal from that day was the audio. My recorder was set to a low gain. My recorder was set to a medium gain. It really required high gain. One thing that I've noticed when you're checking audio levels, it's kind of like natural instinct to go, mic test, and you speak up a little. And then you get into the scene and all of a sudden you're speaking out of, you're going, what are we going to do about this? And the audio level is greatly different. Because of that, I recorded such poor audio that I had to really invest time in learning how compression works. And I also had this, I'll play a clip, but there's horrendous white noise in the background.
Action?
Yeah.
And where are we going?
Q took us off the assignment. I'm going to get us back on it.
I shot him. Leo, I screwed up.
Fuck him. You took action. That's what I asked you to do. That's why I picked you. Now stay by the radio. I need to figure out what this guy's after.
Perfect.
No. Now get out of my way.
And why are you leaving?
Q took us off the assignment. I'm going to get us back on it.
I shot him. Leo, I screwed up.
Fuck him. You took action. That's what I asked you to do. That's why I picked you. Now stay by the radio. I need to figure out what this guy's after.
It was just a mess, and it took me so much time to be able to make the audio functional. Not even to make it good, just to make it so that you could hear it clearly and the volume in the final production wasn't going, skyrocketing to nil. Another big mistake was how much time I wasted trying to find my shots because I didn't have a shot list. I had to go around, and thank God the actors were so patient, but I had to go around with my camera and, refocus and check out this angle and check out that angle and figure out how I was going to do it all. And that ate up probably most of the day. And it really wasn't fair to them because I wasn't fully prepared. And it wasn't fair to the production either because you really want that hammered out beforehand. Let's cut to a quick video by Ryan Camp where he talks about what you should be doing after you have your script solidified.
Create lists and boards from your script. This step encompasses a large portion of the pre-production process. After our script is finalized, we can start to create lists and boards from our script to help us organize everything and everyone we will need to make our film and help convey our vision to other collaborators. Remember, filmmaking, especially bigger projects, is a collaborative process. First, we'll make a shot list that helps break down your script into an easy-to-digest list of what types of shots need to be filmed, how many shots, in what order, and the setting they take place in the script story.
I think episode 4 took me like 6 days total to film, and I think only 4 of them had usable footage. The first time we went to shoot the climactic scene, it was an absolute disaster for more ways than one. The main one being we had this simple 2-page scene that I wanted to shoot first, thinking it would take less than 30 minutes. It wound up taking 2 hours, and by the time we got to the mountains, it was now around noon. The reason that was a huge issue is because the temperature rose and I had massive overheating issues. It's actually comical in retrospect because we were putting like frozen cheese on top of the camera to try to cool it down. We were changing the battery out every 30 seconds. And the worst part of it was I didn't even have it. The camera was shutting off from overheating so quickly that I didn't even have time to change lenses. So I had these like nice lenses. I think they're fun, nice. Other people got, $5,000 shit, but for me it's nice, right? So anyways, I got these nice lenses and I couldn't even use those. I had to stick with the kit lens because the other lenses I have are all prime fixed lenses where that one was adjustable. And I didn't even have time to line up the shot either. I just had to pretty much set up the camera, say we want a wide, say we want a close, and just go, go, go. And it was a nightmare. And I'll include some of the footage here, but to this day, I have never sat down and watched it. That's the only day and only time in my life I ever shot something, and I couldn't even watch it because I was so ashamed. I remember I went home that day, and I got a 12-pack, and I sat on the couch, and I drank it. So it ended up being a good day, but I was still very disappointed in myself. Michael Tyler was on board to shoot again. And you have to remember, when you're doing these projects, it's going on the names of the actors too. So you have to take some pride. No, you don't have to take pride. You have to take responsibility, especially when you're doing a low-budget production, because they're signing on And they know they're not getting rich from this, but there's something about your story that appeals to them, that causes them to believe in your cause. You can only fool people. You can only fool people for, I don't even know if you can fool people. People are going to figure out pretty quick. Is this like a professional Hollywood production, or is this like some guy wants to make a film? I'm some guy that wants to make a film. You can still be very professional. And so you owe it to your cast to deliver a product with the same professionalism that they bring to you when they come to act. So we went back, we reshot the climactic mountain scene, and that is I am most proud of that day and the footage we got than any other day, because it went well, obviously, but mostly because there was so much preparatory work. I had, for the first time in my life, I actually made a storyboard. I had each shot planned out. I had every take that we needed to get, and I even had it down to, like in that scene, Michael Tyler, who plays Leo, he's got a radio and he's got a knife, and he needs to fall and he needs to get in a knife fight with me. So something that seems like not a big deal on its surface ends up being a very big deal, because you have to figure out, like I had to figure out before we kind of wrestled, which side of him the camera was going to be on. That way when he goes to stab me, it can at least fool the viewer to say, oh, maybe he got stabbed, and not be one of these air whiffs where you can see it clearly in the camera. And same goes with the punches that were thrown. And the radio, he had to ditch the radio, because if he doesn't toss the radio aside, then now we're wrestling, and I'm sorry, I don't want to break a radio. I might use it again. I mean, that's pretty poor reason. You can break a radio, if it goes with the story, but I'm going to edit that part out. Our short of the week, it's going to be Guys Weekend by Mamas Out of Bullets. It's a comedy about these two guys, and they're trying to convince themselves that they want to get away from their wives. And it's really funny because they're so adamant about how important this guy's weekend is to them, and they're always talking shit on each other, and they're always ragging on each other, but it's so obvious that they want nothing more than to talk to their girlfriends at all times. Very ironic, very funny. Check it out. Made by a very small cast and crew, which I'm always a fan of, because it's really well done, really well shot. You can tell they did a fantastic job with it. Cast includes Zach Foster, Nee Kirchman, Tom, I'm not going to try to say his last name, and Taylor Shirte. Today's product of the day. I talked a little bit about my audio issues. I hope I played the clip, but if I didn't, here's the clip of the poor audio. But that brings us to the product of the day. Our product of the day is XLR cables. And not just any XLR cables, but Amazon Basic XLR cables. And I know what you're thinking. Hey, TMW Productions, is your brain made of rocks? You have so many different options for XLR cables. Why in the world would you push Amazon XLR cables? I'll tell you why. Now, my microphone, I don't have a rodeo mic like most people do. I have an Audio Technica 3000 RT XY WXL. I don't know. It's an Audio Technica. But what I can tell you is the Amazon Basic XLR cables are the only cables I have yet that fit snug inside the microphone. I've gotten XLR cables from Guitar Center. I've ordered nice ones from Amazon that are not made by Amazon. None of them fit in my specific microphone and recorder as well as Amazon Basics. If your XLR cables aren't fit snug and they're not seating well inside your equipment, you're going to get that white noise, and you're going to have that static, and you're going to have to reduce it in post. Today's lesson of the day: make a shot list, know what you're going to shoot before you ever start filming. I'll put all the links below for the videos that I used as sites or whatever. I'll put links below for different videos. I'll put a link below for the product. So make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and make sure